jungle, or they can try to look for the 2v2 in the top lane, though that's a very scary prospect if they don't, kind of get the jump on their opponents.
It's all going to be about the vision and setups, keeping an eye on the enemy junglers to deny their ability to set up ganks. We're not expecting a lot to go awry in the way of lanes, but the night is young. This is our final game.
What I kind of feel like is going to happen is that Varus is going to punish the Jhin in the bottom lane, especially with Bard because it's into Tahm Kench, and that Condi is going to look for the 1v1 on Clid and put him down early because his bot lane is going to get control over the bottom side of the map, at least for initial rotation. So what I'm curious about, will Clid start top side or will he start bottom side to try to avoid a window where Condi can look to run in and punish this Lee Sin?
So far, it's defensive lines out of everyone on this side of the map, and there is a ramp ward placed out by WE to keep an eye on any sort of optimistic invade out of Qiao. But they are going to play it safe for now. The Monolith Lee Sin capable of starting on both sides, but looks like he's currently sticking towards the top.
Nice thing about QG's composition, because normally you really criticize Karma compositions, especially kind of in this patch when you have champions like Syndra and Ryze, Cassiopeia, just these other options available in the mid lane, is that you have really nice bridging points of power. So Karma is still going to be fairly relevant, probably up to 20-25 minutes before his damage really starts falling off in the late game, and which Jhin and Trundle can really pick it up from there. So I like the fact that QG didn't put all their eggs in one point of power in the game.
The ward in the blue buff that you just saw from Doinby is going to keep an eye on Condi, and they saw Clid on that side of the map, which means they know Clid is starting top.
Okay, but that also means that Clid knows that Condi is starting top side as well. And we talked about how Bin and Mystic should be able to get control of the bottom lane, and my guess is that they're going to push this lane, get control, and then they can go in and try to contest Clid on his blue buff. That said, Clid is just very quickly just rushing through his buffs.
Yeah, started off with the red, now going over through the wolves as he waits for his smite to clear through and get towards that second charge, which he probably wants to use. Is he actually going to smite the wolves at all?
Nope.
Yeah, he's still holding on to it, rushing for that blue buff. And immediately you can see Ben is on his way on towards the river before he heads back in. Ooh.
So they don't choose to disrupt Clid and to play with him. Instead, they're actually just going to deny CS and lay down the poke. So Condi deciding that he's not jungling fast enough to get there in time, although the two junglers may meet in river.
Ooh, Clid. It's going to be a few seconds late as the chain catches Doinby. He flashes. Could they try to dive this under the turret? As Doinby ghosts just in case. Ooh, and Clid forces the leap out of Condi. But that is the flash and ghost used by Doinby just in the lane.
And now Clid's going to hang around and try to push this in and help Doinby here. See if Condi responds. I feel like both junglers are just going to now back away to respective scuttle crabs. Clid's going to be like, fine, top scuttle crab is mine, you can have bottom.
Yeah, Condi clearing his out and Clid doing the same. And with Clid backing away, that means Doinby has to get away from these minions because of the LeBlanc sitting right on top of them.
It's a cute ward from Qiao, very far down the lane. See if he can catch when Doinby is throwing out a skill shot to dodge it, but also make sure that he's not backing inappropriately.
Ooh, Doinby, that's the ignite being used. They're looking for first blood and they find it, but Clid answers by killing Qiao as he flashes away with double buff. Clid is able to get some damage against Condi.
You saw the setup and the bait there. Unfortunately, it backfires a bit for QG as they drop the first blood, I believe. Or did Clid pick it up?
It was Qiao who got first blood.
Okay.
Or excuse me, not Qiao, Condi.
But both kills going over to the junglers, so just a slight gold disparity between them, but otherwise the lane gets shoved in and pretty much fairly even. No one's going to miss any sort of CS or experience because both mid laners are sitting at 16. The lane will be reset.
Alone continues to take a lot of harass from this very high-pressure bottom lane of Varus and Bard, but taking a look at, as you said, the jungle on the mid lane, it is just about even. 0-1-1, 18-18. Dark Seal for Doinby versus a second Doran's Ring, and some sustain for Qiao with some potions.
But Condi delayed his back, so Clid actually... Oh no, Clid also hasn't backed. I thought that he had backed and walked towards Krugs, but nope. Everyone's still jungling.
That's teleport now being used by Kabe as he's going to go for the double longsword start against 957 to catch the minion wave being pushed in.
Oh, that's unlucky.
Just the cosmic binding. But with that, we will finally see the recall out of both of the junglers. Looks like challenging Smite out of Condi, and Clid opting straight for the Caulfield's Warhammer.
Nothing super surprising or out of the ordinary here. The only kind of discrepancy that we've seen opened up after all of the action is actually in the bottom lane, where Mystic and Ben are continuing to pressure with their double melee advantage. However, it gets a bit more precarious and a bit more dangerous just because Ben hasn't had his back in yet, so he hasn't placed his vision. So there is actually a window or an opportunity where they either need to be more passive or more cautious, because Clid could come down and gank them.
957 actually did just complete his own recall for the first few items. He was sitting on the fountain for a good 15 or 20 seconds so that he could forward a Ruby Crystal and walk back top. So he's still got his teleport, whereas Kabe used his. Not to mention 957 is about to be level 6. But again, the junglers meet themselves in the mid lane as Doinby is pressuring in Qiao.
That said, Condi is spotted out, so more information given for QG here. Condi, since he was spotted out during the ward, I actually think that that's the better call to make. To just, Lee Sin's probably here, let's just back up. That said, this does give QG time to set up vision if they want to contest this blue buff later on, or even possibly look for a dive here. They do have the inside track, and Condi's on the bottom side.
Oh, Clid actually goes straight over the wall. The minions are under, and Subjugate is picked up early by Kabe with the minion advantage. They dive. Shadow Dash is going to find Doinby, and with Qiao catching up, Xiaogu back away as Kabe is low health.
Tried to make the most out of Kabe having his ultimate available, but 957, once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah.
Very cautious in his posturing, and manages to fend off 3 people, so a very different look from him in this final game of the series.
That is going to be so important, as the setup from Xiaogu does not yield any payoff, at least not yet. And it's still only a 200 gold difference between the teams as they continue to look for these openings.
Condi might walk into a party, however. Qiao needs to team up with him if he wants to be so aggressive for this red buff.
But the decoy from Qiao, used to spot things out in advance of his jungler. Good communication keeps him safe from face-checking 3.
But I'm going to say even better communication from QG, the fact that they pulled Kabe and ran directly to the red buff, so making sure that Team WE weren't going to get any more off of them overreaching on that dive top.
With that, we've got the first recall out of Alone. Goes for the BF sword instead of the serrated dirk. So going for a bit of a more classical Jhin this time around.
Feels like it's a bit more geared towards your CDR. So it's about opening up that ultimate and kind of being an ult bot spam. That makes sense?
Yes.
I have a responsibility, it's to press R.
You have to open the curtain as much as possible, really turning it into matinee Jhin, as Clid is just continuing to show presence top, but 957 is not falling for it. The team mat is pushing for Kabe, so that just makes it a little bit more challenging to gank Shen.
It's also just about offering security to Kabe. He's creating his own passive advantage in the lane, just because A, 957 has been ganked by 3 people under his tower,
Yeah.
And B, he's got the team and he's got the push priority, and you can see that in his CS. So again, Trundle's still well on track to be that Trundle in the late game.
Condi and Ben roaming around the bottom side right now. They are going to clear the Scryer's Bloom and find Doinby as the blue spawns.
Yeah, they're safely trying to get into this area, but obviously because they don't have vision, they don't just want to run in and face check. They do manage to take the long way around and secure their blue buff, although I may say that prematurely.
There's a Cosmic Binding with that blue buff's name on it, but Doinby is going to take it. They're sitting in the brush.
Oh,
The ward over the wall. Tempered Fate finds the 2. Clid tries to get out from the side, but Condi's there. Doinby flashes over the wall. There's the Abyssal Voyage as Ali goes in, and Condi's caught by the tether. Magical Journey gets WE out.
I just want to say, good guy Wolfcamp blocked the Cosmic Binding on Bard. That's frustrating, because that was definitely going to be a completely different fight if the CC had landed on Clid and Doinby.
That could have gone really bad for Xiaogu really fast, or really good for WE, depending on your perspective as a fan.
I'm a fan of both the teams, so
Yeah.
what do I say?
You're just glad that things are happening, such as Clid ganking top once again.
And it's really a race because the bottom lane is just being pressured so heavily and about to go down. So I still like the fact that 957 is like, I've seen this trick one too many times.
Yeah. Defensive ward, jungler in the wings. But as you've said, Mystic continues to pressure onto Alone and Ali. They're having a lot of difficulty in this matchup. 25 CS down. With that minion wave, it'll be down to about 20. But slowly but surely, that bottom tier 1 is getting chipped away.
And this is what's expected when you pick up the Tahm Kench, especially when you have, range support still available. Now, Qiao is getting involved in the mix, as you can see LeBlanc kind of cheating down repeatedly, and it will force the backs, which I think just guarantees the tower for Team WE.
Just playing the macro pressure game, and Qiao find themselves at now a 700 disadvantage.
It's really smart because you know that the strategy from QG is to focus their top lane, and it leaves their bottom lane exposed. Tahm Kench does suffer level 1 through 5, but the thing is his gank pressure that he can exert once he's level 6. But if no one is coming to assist the bottom lane, then you don't get to make use of his ultimate, you know what I mean? So I think that was quite clever from Team WE to very quickly pivot and recognize, okay, if QG are going to go all in on top side, 957, just play like a chicken. Just ward your flank, clench your butt, back up. We're going to win the bottom side of the map, and then we'll come help you.
Yeah, Kandi solos the first Drake of the game with the pressure yielded by WE bottom, and that Ocean Drake is now theirs. The next one looks like it also is going to be an Ocean Drake, as Alone goes for a recall, and Qiao is going to push this wave in.
And this is kind of the cool thing with the Bard. So again, the difference between like the Varus, the Jhin, and the Ashe is that Varus, once he's unlocked from this lane, he can't just throw like that long-range ultimate from Fog of War and then crack the mid lane. But if you pair him with Bard, Bard can, which means that you don't have to bounce this Varus into another shorter lane, that you can try to focus the more pivotal point on the map, being that mid lane through poking and threatening with the Tempered Fate. So despite how kind of niche Bard is in this meta, I actually really like him with Varus in the sense that he kind of compensates and allows for that pseudo Ashe or pseudo Jhin mid lane threat.
And you can see how Qiao are now struggling to respond as Alone is in the top lane. Kabe swapped out with Doinb in the bottom, leaving Doinb back in the mid lane with Klid and Ali trying to assist him.
I love Bard's attack animation. Sorry, Tom's looking at me like, what are you doing? As I'm just like swinging my arms wildly.
Yeah, there's like a good 5 feet between us just to make sure I don't get hit by random limbs here.
I'm just doing aerobics over here. Gotta keep spry.
And a 1 and a 2. But Doinb continues to catch this minion wave. WE are slowly but surely opening this map up more and more.
They're also opening up the CS discrepancies between their key members and their AP carry and their AD carry, and I feel like this is just kind of a matter of time before Bard's gonna drop the base on someone.
The Tempered Fate?
Yep.
What do you think the Tempered Fate actually is?
What do you mean?
It's a thing. Like LeBlanc fires chains and she throws herself.
It's a base.
It's like one just drum?
Well, Bard's quite musical, so I felt it was a fitting, apt description.
Yeah, very thematic. Well appreciated.
They've moved Qiao. He was bottom lane, he pushed the wave, and now he's running across map to pick up his blue buff.
Yeah.
But while he's here, I feel like this is, again, kind of that opportunity or that window for Team WE to be like, well, while I'm here, we're either making a play bottom, or top, or we're making it mid. Like, you choose.
Now it's Xiaogu's turn to try and turtle this out, as now it is Alone in the bottom lane, catching those minions, trying to keep them from crashing into the turret, while Doinb continues to keep it occupied in the mid. Kabe heads back top, now a level down from 957.
But that poke is really starting to stack up, and you can see that QG are trying to pull multiple resources to cover and afford their members back to try to compensate for the amount of damage that Varus is laying down. This is bad.
Yeah, that was the distortion, but he does still have Mimic available. And with that, Qiao is able to hop away.
I don't know what he thought was going to happen there. It's a Trundle as well as a LeBlanc.
Jorim's Fist and the Tiamat as Kabe is looking for the Titanic Hydra.
There's also pings going up top, and you can see Ben right now. He keeps kind of scooting up towards the top lane. I feel like Condi's on the wrong side of the map.
Blue buff now gifted back over to Doinb as Alone tries to manage the minion wave in the mid lane, but as you said, they just continue to pressure in. Now it's Doinb in the bottom lane. This was a problem that Rusty said could manifest itself.
But Alone still has his ultimate, so if things get super dire, he can always just back up, use the ultimate, and try to clear the creep wave that way. So the tower's still not under any real threat. And again, QG have done a great job kind of micromanaging their different resources to cover for Doinb to, get the blue buff, find his back, heal himself up. And now they've you know, got the minivan, pulled up to the top lane.
Yeah, I like
hear
how
you
they
need
just,
a back.
set up the lane swap and execute. That means that there's 2 in the mid lane and WE collapse with 3 members of their team. Mystic just continuing to fire arrow after arrow after arrow, and slowly but surely he's starting to whittle down that mid-tier 1.
So how patient are Team WE going to be? And in their patience, is this going to open up a window where QG look for a flank? They no longer have the Tahm Kench ultimate, so they can't look in that direction, but there is still Clid for him to make that sweeping insect play. Because slowly but surely, Team WE are winning this chip war.
Whittling down the base and defenses of Qiao. Doinby looking to recall right now, but Mystic is still there and with nobody else to defend it. Instead, though, they are going to try to focus down Qiao.
He can just go back to his spot.
Oh, the clone blocks the bullet and he eats number 4.
Okay, so there goes the ult. And Jin's like, I can no longer hold this tower. Someone needs to respond.
Alone trying to recall. He's nearly 50 CS down from Mystic now, as Doinby actually managed to get a very good recall in and comes back with a full Athens and a needlessly large rod, so he's going to be able to heal himself up a little bit more.
Doinby normally goes for a CDR build on his Karma. I actually think this is the first time we've seen him go the Athens build. In fact, it's much more common from both our Karma players in EasyHoon and Doinby that they go for kind of the Morellos.
Yeah.
Like 40% CDR super early on.
WE might be looking to collapse top, but they are on top of Vision, and Clid is in the area. Alone has been devouring, Ali has been devouring Alone anytime Qiao is looking a little frisky, just to keep that AD carry safe. But now they're finally setting up the recall, and they allow it to finish. Doinby races top to try to cover it, while Mystic went for a recall of his own. So that's not going to be too much damage unless Mystic stays.
This is just super cute how it's almost like a job that they're just taking in shifts. Yeah, it forces him to actually pull the trigger on ulting.
The Abyssal Voyage gets Alone right back into lane, and Doinby is able to cover mid.
The pings are going down mid, however. You can actually see Ben standing in Fog of War. Doinby, how quick are you? He does have flash.
He has found Ben, who was trying to sneak some wards forward, and slowly but surely WE are pressing their vision into Qiao side of the map. But Qiao seem to be committed to this particular lane matchup, as the next Drake spawns 6 minutes later, and WE clean it up.
And WE are perfectly fine to continue to kind of play this slow, drawn-out, patient game, because Karma is on a ticking time bomb before she becomes irrelevant in terms of the damage that she's going to put out, and she's just kind of your secondary support. So the longer this game goes on, the harder time Doinby is going to have as kind of like a carry threat potential, especially when he's going on a build like the Athenes. So I just feel like WE are like, we're getting free dragons, we're getting chip damage on the tower, we're getting all this gold and this resource, and Karma's running out of, you know, gas.
Yeah.
So we're totally fine just to sit here and just to continue.
I thought this was the LPL. I was told there would be team fights.
The scary thing is Trundle.
Yes.
He's now opened up probably the only CS gap between a carry for his team, and eventually he will become that threat no matter what. So if Doinby falls off, I guess they still have their Hail Mary and Kabe.
He has been instrumental to their success in the past. As it is, though, 957, without being shut down, is becoming equally as tanky, finishing off with Sunfire and now building a Tiamat to maintain lane pressure.
And then it just comes down to execution of very different responsibilities within your team. You know, Shen, he's there to assist the team in the 5v5. He can be that split push, but against Trundle, he's really there just to kind of save the tower for as long as possible.
And speaking of save the tower, Qiao finally let it drop. The top tier 1 goes down, leaving only the mid tier 1, and it's already down to half.
And then that opens up so much more space where now Team WE have a lot more room to work with to get behind QG when they want to break this mid tower. And Rift Herald, it's next. Let's take it.
Oh,
or maybe let's
Qiao
fight
might try
for
to
it.
fight for it as they drop the curtain call and WE scatter. Everyone split.
We didn't want it. It's fine.
It was a joke, I swear. And now Qiao looks like they're going to be the ones trying to force a play. They group as 4 and rush right down the mid lane.
The Rift Herald is like those samples that you get in the grocery store. Like, you would never actually buy it, but if it's free, you'll just take it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this looks delicious. What, $5? No.
Then somebody walks up and flips the tray over. You've had 7. But now Qiao continue to catch the minion wave in the mid lane, and Qiao
He almost didn't make that
Yeah,
wall.
getting a little elusive there. He still had his basic distortion as Herald the Rift Herald returns to the Void. And WE just keep on getting one auto attack at a time.
But the issue is that Doinby is low on mana. He does have blue buff, but how much longer can he sit here and try to wave clear for the team?
I do not know the answer to that question.
Well, Team W are trying to really test that hypothesis because they are refusing to leave. Look at this, they're relentless.
This has got to be so savage to play against.
I find them incredibly frustrating to watch. So I can only imagine playing across from Team WE.
Yeah, where's the fighting? Where's the action? The excitement?
They just
21 minutes in.
They just slowly grind you down.
Yeah.
They just exhaust you mentally and emotionally.
It's like the... Did you ever play that hand game where somebody has their hands on top and the other one has the hands on bottom and you have to like flip your hands over?
Yes,
and
I
the other one has
too
to pull it out?
was in kindergarten.
Yes.
At one point.
It feels like WE are the team that just sits and doesn't actually do anything for like 25 minutes.
Oh, hold on, you made it your wish.
And Doinby, ignite, shielded, flash, heal, and he shields again. Qiao looking for the Shadow Orb. Nah, gets out of there, and Doinby blows everything he's got and then some, but he gets out with his life.
That said, Qiao also blew a lot right there, so both key summoners missing. And meanwhile...
That's Doinby back in base, and WE collapse on the mid lane. There you actually get Tempered Fate onto Alone, but Ali's just going to gobble him up as soon as he gets out of that Tempered Fate.
The 15-minute siege mid ends.
Finally, the Steamroller at a casual 1.5 miles per hour presses down, and Mystic is like, Yomu's, get me out of here. Doinby's chasing. The third bullet hits. He flashes, and Doinby is unable to convert that. Kabe has collapsed upon his WE turn onto him and destroy that Trundle.
Wow, so punishing for QG. So they try to get the pick on Mystic because they feel like he's overextended. That said, he's got both his summoners available. And unfortunately, after all is said and done, they don't get the kill. They lose their top laner, and they don't get the tower.
Yeah, not a single turret has fallen for WE.
And we talked about, you know, how Team W were fine to play this super patient, just grinding and whittling game. We talk about, you know, death of 1,000 paper cuts in Vici style. This is very similar for Team WE. Just these tiny little micro advantages that they're just taking, you know, just one over here, two over here, and suddenly it's just exposing and ripping this wound open.
And Xiaogu, you can take a look at the gold difference right now. 900 gold lead for Qiao. About a 1,200 gold lead for Condi. 957 is pretty even, but take a look at those 80 carries.
Yeah, it's the 80 carry that you're looking at here. That's about 2,000 gold, 247 to 174, and Mystic has just been living in this mid lane, whereas Alone, it's much scarier for him. He doesn't have the greatest wave clear pressure, so he can't defend the towers as well as someone like the Karma can, and he can't be out into a side lane because Qiao has kill pressure on him. Although Qiao, hello?
Surprise, there's Elise in there. He actually managed to get caught by the tear. Sonic Wave does not block him down.
That brushed his hair. That went, he smelt that as it went past.
Lee Sin's kick. That doesn't seem particularly pleasant as the dragon respawns and Xiaogu finally are going to force it, but Kabe is top.
They're pinging Baron. They have the control word on
23 minutes in, Xiaogu desperate to make something happen. Might be giving this up. They've got the Abyssal Voyage. They're bringing Clid over there, trying to force this down. Alone gets the crit, but that is Baron being burned down. Clid over the wall. 957 has got the Shadow Dash. Can he stagger it? Kicks him over, but Clid is ready and waiting. Qiao going to get some burst damage. Lands the Sonic Wave with the curtain call opened up. Qiao gets hit once, but gets out of range of the second, and they all break free from the pressure of Xiaogu.
But QG have the inside track on the mid lane, so it should finally crack, or maybe they're looking for more.
Yeah, Kabe is zoning away the rest of WE. You can see Qiao is going for a recall right now, so he's not going to be able to make it back very quickly. Mystic taking the long way around to get to the minions. Tempered Fate to stall it out, and Doinby might be caught here under the turret. Ali is able to save them as Alone is slowed. Qiao's on the way to try to catch up.
Here comes the
He
TB.
gets another one. That's the decoy.
Mimic.
And heal immediately used by Alone just to keep himself topped off.
We're clear. In the end,
we're clear.
QG come out ahead because they got the Infernal Dragon. That was actually very cute played by the fact that they make the decisive call. They get in the minivan. Tom Kench, gobble me up. We're going to Baron. So allow alone, picks up the Infernal, Klid's over there to red zone defense over the Baron.
Look at those wards. The panic reaction from Qiao. They're doing Baron, ward everything.
Just throw them in.
They can't clear them all if there's 7.
Can't give you vision for that split second when the control ward's on it.
Yeah. Qiao looking to kill Kabe here. That was flash used. He saw the stand united, and he dies very inelegantly. And Doinby is going to face check into Kandi, and then the collapse from WE.
And
that's 2 kills.
Every smart decision has suddenly now been undone as they're missing their primary wave clear. So Alone does have his ultimate, and the Jhin is still alive, but you have to think that this is going to be at least some objective for Team WE.
And Mystic is like, thank you very much. 70 gold, please.
I love how Doinby was dead, and he was already taking a drink. He's like, it's fine.
Yeah, he saw it coming. And again, this comes back to the style that WE like to play, this very patient grinding out the win. You have to imagine a team like Qiao gets impatient after a while. Everybody else can leap over the wall, it's fine. And there's a Bard. Qiao zoning Klid away, as with Kandi dead, Kabe has got his teleport as he's currently heading down bottom, but there's no ward. That's Clairvoyance Trinket spotted out. Now he's going to teleport behind. Tempered Fate goes wide as Klid is the target. They're forcing the fight. Chain of Corruption is dodged, but the curtain call gets Mountain. Klid is on the far side. 957 is still inside, and Klid walks away with his life, but Ali cannot say the same. He goes down. Klid gets back in. Kandi is dead, and Qiao turn the fight. 3 go down, and Mystic tanking the Baron has to walk away with his tank and support.
Disaster for Team WE. They could not have played that worse if they tried, and now that'll mean that QG will turn on the Baron. Everything that QG had just fumbled within the last 3 minutes has now been absorbed. As Team WE, this is like Hail Mary, stop them at all costs.
Yeah, 957 is pretty tanky, but Zoinbeat's stoning it out. The arrow catches Klid. He's very low. They have to protect the smite. Shatter Dash doesn't catch him as Alone gets in. Mystic tries to get one and will kill Kid before Ben gets out of the back. 957 is now the one tanking the Baron. Baron has done more damage in this team fight than the team players.
But there's no jungler alive.
They're going to try to burn through the health. Mystic has the arrow. They're going to try to stall it out. He fires. It's on cooldown right now. Burn down the Baron. Abyssal Voyage as they're trying to get it back in. 300 health. Finally, they secure it as Ali. Abyssal Voyage right on top of Mystic and is denied chase by Ben. But that's Qiao getting the Baron.
Ali, the hero that QG need. Let's take a look at this team fight. Check out everyone goes over the wall except for Mystic. This poor guy is left in the pit and he's just going to get chunked from Baron. That means your AD carry completely gone. Klid manages to clear so they don't pick up the kill on the jungler. Then Kandi, bam, flashes straight into the wall. There were so many individual mechanical mistakes from Team WE in executing that team fight. So disastrous, and in the end, QG capitalize and find the Baron. Beautifully done from Ali to zone away Varus. When Varus threw his last arrow, that Baron had 79 HP.
Yeah, so very close. But Qiao take the Baron, and with that, they finally have a window to try to get back into this, to break down the defenses of this WE team and start working towards their first turret of the game. There's no answer for 957 on the opposite side of the map, though, as Doinby rushes forward with the Baroned up minions. The mid-tier 1 goes down, but they're going to lose the bottom tier 2.
And this is 100% a trade in favor of Team WE. You never want to trade outer for inner. So, despite the fact that they have the Baron, still have the tempo control lead.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-1 trade now for Qiao as they finally get some much-needed gold in their coffers. Iceborne Gauntlet completed by Kabe as he gets his big buy. Rylai is now finished off for Doinby as Ali picks up Redemption. So some much-needed item completions. Keeps Qiao standing for at least a little while longer.
And this Baron is really just about, like you said, absorbing some of that lead or trying to be defensive with it. So unfortunately they lose a ton of time just trying to reset their map and chase around all of these loose ends, and they don't even really get to claim or pressure a priority dragon with it because the next one spawning is Ocean. So just kind of bad luck bears for QG. Keeps them in the game, but they need to find something to crack this game open.
This is actually the final elemental Drake of the game. I'm sure WE would love to have 3 oceans for these extended sieges whittling down. Doinby is consumed by Ali. The Devourer spits him right back out as Qiao just goes for a little bit of poke. Meanwhile, the bottom tier 1 goes down, so that's a 3-turret Baron for Qiao Gu as they're finally opening the map up a little bit more. As we get to the 30-minute mark, they are clearing down this final Ocean Drake, their second of the game.
We talked about how LPL supports have really been prioritizing more so Rocket than Redemption. This time around, we've got 2 Redemptions. It makes sense because you have so many different poking elements, as well as a lot of diving elements. Redemption works wonderfully in those scenarios, but I feel like every time I'm checking in on the supports items, it's always Locket. So nice to see more of kind of a global homogenization in terms of itemization and priority for Redemption.
And now we get to the 30-minute mark. Things slow down a little bit as the Baron buff wears off of Qiao Gu, and they are unable to press down any of those tier 2s without taking significant risk from WE as they look to perhaps pick off Kabe. Qiao sneaks in to the back of that brush. Don't fall for the bait, Kabe.
It's more like 957 really has to look delicious, which meanwhile, speaking of baits.
Yeah, that's the magical journey. And yep, he took the bait. He turns back onto Qiao and is doing a lot. Can he kill Qiao? That's the Stand United, but that means Shen isn't doing anything. Oh, but gets blocked by the minion.
Pillar the Shin!
Whoa, that Tempered Fate doesn't catch anyone from Qiao Gu.
That has to be so frustrating. Just focused in on the kill. If you pillared the Shen,
Pillaring the Shen doesn't get rid of the shield.
Yeah, but you can stop him from going, you know, stop the ult and then run. Because even if he grabs him, the shield's still going to be there, but then the Shin's going to immediately go through for the taunt. Like, it just makes it that much closer.
Instead, though, that is a kill towards WE. 7-3 in this set. They're still about 4,000 gold ahead of Qiao Gu right now. And continuing to press forward, though, much more reserved about reclaiming control of the map with all of those tier 1s now down.
Now we're going to be back to the Baron Elder Dance. Unless someone steps out and gets picked off again.
Looking at you, Kabe.
I love how Team W are like flying V. Everyone's together. The Shin's with them. And now they're going to sit in a bush.
That is Stand United on cooldown as WE start to set up around that mid lane, getting vision of the blue side jungle of Qiao Gu.
Again, I think I've seen this play. Qiao's just sitting underneath 957.
Yeah, that's the blue trinket now. Used by Doinby to spot out for Kabe. As the minion wave is cleared out, Doinby chases forward. Curtain call. And again, the magical journey just to walk right outside of it. Mystic didn't even take it. But he's hiding just outside of vision, and Doinby takes some harass on the way back to his turret.
But that's a big ultimate that they've eaten up, and nothing was able to follow up, as well as a super pivotal ultimate for trying to chase down Team WE. Notice that Kha'Zix does have his W evolved. We've seen a lot more Kha'Zix doing this.
Kabe's caught again, uses the subjugate, but this time he's under an inhibitor turret, and there are no minions to help WE out. But they do get that subjugate cooldown, and Doinby is collapsing. 957. He has his Stand United back up. Redemption is going to heal Kabe right back up to build. Doinby flashes as the Abyssal Voyage. They're chasing that Shen down. It's all or nothing on that tank. And they're able to lock it down, but where do they go from here? Team
WE is still in the mid lane, so they're making the conscious decision not to collapse and try to fight that because so much was expended to just try to chase down 957, and instead they're going to trade his life for the tower.
Qiao looks for a sneaky play onto Alone, but Ali's reflexes keep his AD carry safe. The mid-tier 2 goes down, and the pressure from WE is maintained. Teleports up for Kabe and Barons in 30 seconds.
But this is the big thing, because someone's going to have to respond to Kabe, which means that QG should have priority in laying down vision for this Baron, unless Team W kind of stagger their backs correctly. Which, if they move into this as a unit, it doesn't matter. Like, they should be able to take full vision control over this. So, Kabe taking this tower, not only does it mean the tower, but more importantly, it should mean the superior Baron setup for QG.
The tier 2 falls, Kabe answers, and WE Qiao clears out red buff on the back side of Qiao Gu. The vision is now being set up, and Qiao Gu are actually starting this off. 957 is back up with both his teleport and his Stand United, but there's no vision. They're going to race forward right into Qiao Alone, eats the chains, and immediately turns back to the Tahm Kench as Qiao Gu, empowered by Doinby, walk away from that terrifying situation.
Musical chairs right around the Baron pit, and again, inside track with a big minion wave crashing mid lane, so QG need to reset their position, which means that they will probably lose priority in all of the vision that they'd committed towards that Baron pit just to clear out the wave. So great play by Qiao.
And now WE are able to reset their dance once again, reclaim control of that mid lane, and start to sweep out some of the vision that Qiao had set up. With teleport available for both top laners, we're expecting them to still sit in that bottom lane. His Guardian Angel is now completed for Kabe. A second chance whenever he gets caught out by 957 and Qiao, because you know he's going to look for that play again.
But again, it's now kind of the different responsibilities for both these top laners. There's a bit more of onus on Team WE to feel like they find the correct fight and to go in with the Shin ultimate. Because now that you also have the GA as well as the Iceborne Gauntlet, this Trundle's even bigger of a problem in one of these side waves.
Qiao is actually on the opposite side of the map. Can't be caught out of position if Qiao decide to set up for that Baron. Though they are starting to clear out some of the vision from WE and maintain a safe position.
But because Team WE have the Scuttle Crab, it means that at least for the duration of that immovable vision, that they're not able to start it. So trying to find these flanks.
Yeah, the Elder Dragon now is also an objective, and Qiao goes back for Kabe before getting knocked away by the pillar. Immediately, Qiao turn onto the Baron control ward, spots the one in the pit, but they are trying to burn through its health. Here comes the rest of them. Recall from Kabe. Will it be canceled in time? If he can make it back into base, he does. That's teleport ready from both of the top laners. Glid doing what he can. Tempered Fate catches the lead. Tempered Fate goes down. Curtain Call looking for some damage. Chain of Corruption keeps Doinby locked down in the front as Ben goes to the back. Kandi gets kicked in and annihilated with Doinby. Huge play from Glid to lock that down as 957 is going to keep Qiao from trying to follow this. But they will not stop. They cannot stop. The minion wave is being pulled by Qiao, and Qiao have got to decide what to do.
And the reason why Qiao tried to make the play happen bottom is because they had that Scuttle Crab. So he knew that it was going to be a gamble, that there was no way that they could sneak the Baron. But this is decisive. Yeah,
they're going for the inhibitor bottom. Qiao solo down there. There's no Tempered Fate to try to stall this out. Chain of Corruption is on cooldown. It's going to be a huge arrow for Mystic if he can get this. As the inhibitor turret goes down, the Baron is secured by Qiao for the second time this game as Doinby zones away the rest of the team.
They need to stall the rest of the backs. I don't think Qiao can get this in time, so it will just be a traded Baron for an inhib tower. Not worth. He needed that inhibitor.
Tragically, Lichbane LeBlanc has fallen out of the meta for quite some time.
We saw it earlier from
we
Scout.
Did. Yes. Not 100% successful, but the Elder Dragon is now up. Qiao have got priority pressure in their side lanes. Somebody's going to have to answer top, however, and Qiao are rushing straight towards the Elder Dragon. You were right. WE are the Elder Dragon team.
But I really want to commend, before we get into this Elder Dragon fight, QG's decisive decision-making late game, especially against a veteran lineup like Team WE. It may come down to this 50-50 fight, however.
Yeah, Clit is right there, level 16 to Kandi's level 16, so that is equivalent smites if they can burn it down. Yeah, she is flanking from behind. Alone is sitting right next to Ali along with Doinby. It's down to 3,000 health. It's go time. Alone is going to eat the chain. Tempered Fate alone can't get inside of the catch. He flashes away, and they're trying to brute force this. 3,000 health, and the Elder Dragon is forgotten. Curtain Call on the side, and Qiao knows exactly where to go. Alone is demolished by Qiao, but Kandi is going to GA pop in the pit. They've got a very small window to try to burn through this dragon. No, they forget about it and turn back into the fight. Qiao Zanya's to buy his time. Ali is tanking in the front along with Glid and Kabe. He's able to save him, pops over the wall. Qiao follows, but the auto is able to get it. It's up to Kabe and Alone and Kabe, Ali, and Doinby, but Ali goes down, and WE win the fight and take the Elder Dragon.
LeBlanc does not have a single win in the LPL so far, but Qiao is trying his damnedest to turn that around. That was a beautiful flanking play from Qiao that secures them the dragon and keeps them in this game.
Kabe is not probably thrilled about this, as he's going to die to a support Bard and Mystic. GA is going to be popped as well, turns to get some damage onto Mystic as 957 is already working on the inhibitor. But this is a huge window for WE now that they've picked up this Elder Dragon and denied the Baron buff for Qiao. That's the first inhibitor down, and WE decide not to take any chances and back away.
Which means any sort of Baron buff that QG have left is now going to be absorbed by that. As we take a look at this play, this is all about Qiao. He got a deep flanking play. As soon as Alone backs up to open up his ultimate, LeBlanc hops over the wall and immediately stops this. And this is the big turning point. So huge props to Qiao. Played this fight beautifully. Even Condi kind of failing his leap over the wall and popping his GA. Like, look at this. They've just split. Condi's like, I've got the dragon. Everyone else, you take care of the team fight and just try to burn Clid out of it.
Now the sudden patient 1,000 cuts of WE are going to hurt that much more with Elder Dragon and 2 Elemental Drakes. The next inhibitor falls before Qiao can respond, and WE are just working their way down into this. There goes the curtain call. 957 is eating some damage, trying to get to the journey, but he's denied. Clid gets away from the chains of corruption, and Doinby is able to drop Ben despite the fact that he has got huge regeneration, and 957 with sub 100 health walks it off.
They're going to continue to chase them, though. Clid could look for Mystic.
Misses the Sonic Wave, but Akabe is looking for 957. They've got 2 inhibs down and a large wave shoving bottom. Mystic is caught by the Sonic Wave and will die for his troubles, and Qiao answer back with another set of kills of their own.
Not out of the woodwork yet. Unfortunately for Qiao, pretty much all they can get is they can pick up the gold, they can take away the red buff, but it's table scraps because they need to take care of their base. Someone needs to tend to that massive wave that's building up in the bottom side. Yep, that one.
Ooh, Qiao are trying so hard to keep themselves in this game, but WE are so insistent with their objectives. It's Kabe single-handedly holding that, while Qiao press down into the super minion wave to break down the tier 2. Qiao's caught. He's got Zanya's though. Can they try to burn it down? No, he gets out as the auto attack is denied, saved by 957. And they continue to push forward.
They've got a wave push. Or they've got a wave prepped and ready, and Qiao is back.
Tempered Fate catches alone, but Ali is right there. And the wave is denied by the ultimate from Ben. Qiao getting a bit cheeky here as they're waiting just outside of the vision. Magical Journey finds Ben! He flashes over the wall, and they're able to get that as Qiao follows up and finds Ali, but the tether actually keeps Ali close. 957 goes in, denies some of this initial damage as Ali is forced to get away. Chain of Corruption finds Doinby. That's the teleport used by Kabe, and Alone sets up the curtain call. Qiao once again looking to flank, and Alone ready to save his carry as Clid goes in onto 957. Qiao flanks along with Condi at the same time. Ali somehow still alive as Condi goes low and goes down. What is the team fighting kings? Could they be returning here as Qiao win the fight?
Qiao is running towards the top lane. He's trying to get together with that super creep wave just to, distract QG from pushing this in.
Kabe is trying to get back there. It's still 4 members, and Ali is already there. They're going to burn down this inhibitor turret. Mystic firing arrows into the dark, but Qiao are not stopping for just a few measly arrows. They're going to take this inhib. Maybe they will stop for a few measly arrows. I'm not entirely sure where they're backing right now.
Tempered Fate is about to come up. They know that the cooldown is either up or about to come up, so they're respecting Bard.
Whew. Qiao are keeping themselves in this. There's a huge minion wave top. Baron's up in a minute with the recalls from Qiao. They're going to have to race to get back towards that side of the map. And somehow, despite WE playing this impossible style, Qiao are winning fights and getting back.
But it's been pretty much the Baron. The Baron was the first turn for Qiao. The fact that they were able to do that in an incredible fight that A, Team WE misplayed, but B, also Ollie in particular saved and dug out from the grave. That said, WE then answered back with an incredible fight over the Elder Dragon. And here we are, probably now into the last fight over the next Baron.
Yeah, very well could be. 43 minutes in. Qiao trying to end this and come out successful in this week of the Reapers, but WE are playing very sneaky by setting up a lot of wards around that Baron buff. Qiao have got to move as a unit. Kabe used his teleport aggressively to break down the mid inhibitor turret, but didn't quite get the inhib, and Ali leading the way. Very tanky. Kabe and Ben, or Condi and Ben, excuse me. Zone him away, and you just heard the announcer. That inhib is coming back up. Chain of Corruption finds Ali, and he gets out of range from his allies before it procs on Doinby and Clid. Qiao once again heading bottom with 957, looking to replicate the play that he did 20 minutes earlier as the inhib gets back up.
He's just trying to flood the base and just distract Kabe. Like you said, he doesn't have his teleport. His primary responsibility here is just to keep the base standing. So 957 and Qiao are just being obnoxious.
Then he gets caught by a snare and is immediately destroyed. Qiao are the ones who find the pick. They continue to chase forward. Doinby flashes onto Mystic. There's the Stand United. Meanwhile, Ali trying to save alone from Qiao. They're able to... No, Doinby died in the meanwhile. 957 gets in as Qiao flashes alone, is away from the Tahm Kench, and Qiao are falling apart at the seams. Kabe is going to get up there. There's the knockup, and the Abyssal Voyage is not there in time. It's 3 members of Qiao against 3 members of WE.
Look at
They're
their base.
racing forward. There are super minions on top of the Nexus turrets. They can't go back too far as Kandi chases forward. They're able to drop Ali, and Clid is there trying to clear the minions. Kabe is kiting it back as best he can. The Chain of Corruption is back off cooldown, and the inhibs get back up in time to waste the push from 957, Kandi, and Mystic, and they will be reset immediately.
But the question is, do they continue to try to push an end? They did use Redemption.
They've got minions coming. It's 2 versus 3 right now. It's all up to Kabe. Can he do this? Kabe that Lee Sin gets in, kicks Mystic back. They're doing so much damage. They're trying to burn through. They are able to drop Mystic, but they lose Clid in the meanwhile. Kabe doesn't have the Subjugate, but he does have Flash. He's also got his GA. So he's playing the very patient game, and QG are still alive.
Kabe weathers the storm. That said, Kandi is still alive. He's still healthy, and the Baron is now up. He's going to steal some life off of the red buff, but I have a feeling that we're very quickly going to see him. No, they don't want to do it because they don't have Varus. So they instead set up a trap.
They're just baiting out Qiao. Oh man, I've seen this play before.
Face check.
Ali is going right in. Doinby is there along with Alone.
You have
There goes
Q.
the sweepers. Ali, gets slowed, but that is one very tanky Tahm Kench. Meanwhile, minions are pushing in the top lane. WE continue to push forward now. They have cleared out that vision. The control ward dies, and they can see WE in the pit now.
And Kabe has teleport this time around. So they should just need to reset their map. I cannot believe they still are in the game. That inhib respawn.
How is this happening? Qiao staying in this somehow. It's 3,000 gold difference. What is that damage, Doinby? You're... what? What? Look at Qiao's face.
Oh no. Remember that moment when we talked about Karma falling off in damage? Well, if Karma itemizes Death Cap, Lord, and Zako, Void Staff, Leandries.
That is amazing. Qiao's dead for 50 seconds. It's 5 versus 4. Kabe split pushing in the bottom with teleport, meaning it's 4v4 with reinforcements. Immediately, Qiao turn onto the Baron, sweeping out the vision of WE. This is going to be a heroic fight indeed, but the Baron is taking a lot, and Doinby does just as much damage as he chases back forward. Chain of Corruption is sidestep, and Kandi is split. Tempered Fate catches 2, and the Redemption, used a bit preemptively, is going to top Alone back off. He's very low, and Kabe is forced to teleport in to reinforce his team. That's an aggressive Redemption now to keep them topped up. WE are very high health, and this is like fish in a barrel. Doinby is slowly getting chipped down. Clid goes outside of the pit to zone Kandi out. It's down to 2,000 health. He leaps over the wall, and this is Baron picked up by Qiao.
Beautifully executed from Kabe. As soon as they saw that Kha'Zix used his E to disengage over the wall, they knew that the Baron was theirs. And now Team WE, Qiao, you saw his face. As soon as he went down, he cost his team the Baron, and now, backs to the wall.
Yeah, very well could have cost them this series. Game number 1 and game number 2 are on the line in this match. 50 minutes in.
Can you imagine losing to EDG in the way that WE did, and if they lose to QG in pretty much the exact same scenario, that would be devastating.
Elder Dragon is back up now in 2 seconds, right after the Baron spawns again. And with all 10 members back on the map, we're looking ready for another big team fight.
Now, the last time the Elder Dragon fight went over in Team WE's favor and saved the game for them because of Qiao's positioning and posturing by finding Alone on a flank. So all eyes on this LeBlanc.
Kabe shows himself top.
I feel like QG, don't even funnel into the Elder Drake. I mean, stop that if that's going to happen. But you want to play the pressure game. You want to pull WE off of it and have them respond to your waves before you move into the pit. I think this is them playing into Team WE's hands.
Yeah, there are super minions pushing in from 2 lanes. Qiao are being torn apart at the seams, but somehow they hold together. This Elder Dragon is down to below half health now. Kandi is there.
Oh,
Tempered
no,
Fate catches him, and that's going to be the curtain call being used. It's picked up and locked down. Kandi is able to get his smite, leaps over the wall. Tether doesn't proc, and the final bullet misses. Qiao are unable to capitalize on this as Doinby chases over the wall, and Qiao suddenly find themselves split. 957 is on Doinby. He's going to have to try to get away from this.
WE want to chase them because the super creeps are popping into the mid lane tower.
Stand united on 957 just in case, but the minion waves all across the map have been stalled out. That is a very weakened set of minions going out onto the map.
So QG lose the Elder Dragon because their Baron is forced to just protect and defend their base. We've now traded Baron for Elder, and I think it's kind of neutralized again. The problem is that Team WE don't seem to find much success unless they're fighting in the jungle. And when you don't have these big epic monsters to fight over like the Baron, like the Elder, they're finding much less success. Whereas QG, their composition really thrives on an elongated lane like this. They've got the Karma, they have the Jhin, they have the Tahm Kench. They can run you down.
It is 50 minutes into the game, and there's a 500 gold difference.
The gold difference doesn't matter at all because we're well past the point where everyone has their core itemization.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a close game.
Yes, this is incredible how close Qiao are playing this to the chest, and WE are keeping pace with this. And it isn't a passive game either. They're actually starting to blow after blow, try to force each other down.
But again, this is where Team WE want to fight. They want to fight in the jungle like this. They've got the Kha'Zix and the LeBlanc. They want to be popping over these walls. Whereas QG, they want to fight in lanes. They want to pop open that Jhin ultimate, run you down, cause problems for you.
Seems like Qiao are having a lot of success moving as a moving turtle unit. Just one cluster of 5 people dealing with the strikes that WE tried to puncture in.
Here we go.
Curtain call to open it up. Tempered Fate is going to deny that follow-up. Qiao is there, and Ali races back to save his carry. He's able to get there in time, but it's Doinby who eats the damage instead. And the turtle of Qiao has to back away. Kaveh in the front, soaking as much as he can, but he's being whittled down. Doinby is less than a quarter health, and Kaveh tries to flash as the Elder Dragon is still doing excessive damage. Flash arrow misses Doinby, and Kaveh was devoured the whole time.
And shout out to Ben. The Jhin ultimate pops up. He dunks him right in the back.
Yep.
Bard, the classic counter. And stops any sort of chasing maneuver that QG could find there. And like you said, that Elder Dragon doing a ton of work.
Kaveh teleports and completes it.
I'm gonna say that's auspicious, but not great.
Yeah. Not entirely sure what he was looking for there, but he did force WE to retreat, and I believe that teleport should be back up by the time Baron is set to respawn, as the inhibitors are back up for the second time this game. And Qiao are still in this. This is like Ninja Warrior right here. By the tips of their fingers, they hang on.
I don't know. I think for portions of this game, they've certainly been like fully in first place. This has been swinging rather liberally.
Is like the fisherman where he's like hanging from the tips of his fingers, but then he just as nimbly flips over to a rope.
Doesn't that guy win like every year?
He's won like twice, I think.
Yeah. I see you're a Ninja Warrior fan.
It's very difficult to win.
I too get that obscure reference.
And now WE set back up into a pressure position, trying to keep Qiao locked into their base.
Check out where Clit is. Just constantly hunting. Again, actually, it should be noted, both supports, everyone has 6 items except for the supports, who are making it mandatory that they don't fill up that last spot. And that seems fairly obvious so they can have the control wards, but a lot of supports do fill up that last spot. And then these end portions of the game get really scary because you don't have the protection of the flanking vision or the full vision control that you need over the monster objectives like the Elder Dragon, like the Baron.
Ooh. The clone, the decoy from Qiao, causing so much panic out of WE. They immediately back up and try to get some damage out. But upon seeing that it is in fact only a decoy, back away. The chains miss, and immediately Qiao rushes in. Doinby leads the charge. 957 is pillared back. And Klid continues to look for these openings. But 2 Ocean Dragons and 1 for Qiao means that a lot of this chip damage is refunded after just a few seconds. Kabe is recalling right now.
Let's be honest, we're in the LPL. This is either going to end in someone face-checking a bush or over a Baron fight.
Curtain call from the black, and again, the Tempered Fate immediately catches Alone. But that's going to be a big cooldown now used, and the Baron is up in 20 seconds. Qiao, there's no vision for WE on this side, and Qiao actually match the call of WE and race towards their inhibitor.
It's a key tool, like you said, that Jhin ultimate not being available. Qiao,
he's actually caught by the snare here, but he's still got his Zanya's Hourglass and just leaps away.
Just a little bit too excited, overzealous. A huge wave in top side for QG. Someone from Team W will have to respond to that. That said, 957 has both Stan United as well as his teleport. And the Baron is live.
Yeah, Klid is trying to get some wards in the back. They've still got Scuttle Crab, so they have vision of the entrance.
And it's so much more on QG to maintain vision control, just because you're across from both Varus and Kha'Zix. I mean, either team is really going to burn this Baron probably under 5 seconds just because we're so late game, but you know. Shin, I mean, theoretically, there could be a scenario where like 2-man just tank it for either team. Got the Trundle, you got the Lee Sin, you got the Shin, you got the Kha'Zix.
I just realized Rusty did call it. It could be a 25-minute stomp or a 50-minute slog. And this, I don't even think this was a slog. This is the teams just decking each other, trying to close this out.
They're just
so even.
They're very similar teams in kind of like their win conditions or their pivot points. And again, it's just kind of this collective identity of no standout S-tier players, but 5 B-tier players that make an S-tier team. And that's what's really cool about QG and Team WE is they're probably the 2 quintessential teamwork teams of the LPL, if you will. Everyone else feels a bit scattered or kind of a bit weighted to one side. You know, you look at Vici, like the top side of the map looks great.
Oh, Klid went so far. He gets the insect on the Mystic, but he's shielded up, and they're able to destroy him. Alone goes down in the back, and Kandi's going to try to assassinate him, but that is way too deep. Stand United, they keep him up. Doinby goes down, and they're going to try to collapse onto Qiao. He goes down, but that's Kandi dropping as well. Alone is kiting it out on the back, and Ben is running for his life, and it looks like they drop Kandi with a big 4th bullet crit. 957 gets a shadow dash, but he's not long for this world. Qiao might be able to win this fight. Don't even bother with the snare. End the game, Qiao.
But they have to get the creep wave.
Akabe's been chasing Ben for ages. This troll is having one heck of a time, and the minion wave is being denied. There's the Abyssal Voyage being used on by Ali. Even the Ocean Dragon is keeping them occupied. 957 and Ben are putting out a valiant effort. Klid and Alone are trying to finish this off. Ben is leading them on a very merry chase indeed. They have got 6 minions to try to end the game with. There's teleport used a little bit too soon before the next turrets as Qiao chase forward.
But that's fine because you have the tankiness from Klid as well as Trundle. So even if the creep wave dies by not having the teleport there and available, QG are just going to burn through this.
They got Ben, immediately kicked 957 back, and from the depths of defeat, 2 inhibitors down, 57 minutes in, Qiao, big high fives, big smiles. They take the win in this game 3.
And you see Doinby literally leaps from his chair, turns to Klid, claps his hand. Actually, I think he clapped Ollie's hand.
Yes, he got Ollie. But you know, Klid, wow, how did he even land that Sonic Wave?
That was incredible burst damage.
I didn't even see it.
Wow, and that has to feel good. You can see it on the players' faces, big smiles, some guys even throwing up their hands right there, and just a well-deserved bow. That has to be so mentally draining.
Oh, yeah. And with the conclusion of that game, that brings us to the end of the week of the Reapers. Look at that gold graph. Whew, joining us once again on the desk is Rusty. Qiao have done it. 2-0
Klid did it, Dom. Qiao didn't do anything. Klid did it all. Like, to the point where their Nexus was about to die and he kicks them under and they kill the AD carry. Like,
yeah.
That man is actually the clutch king. I've never, like, at 55 minutes in a game, to be able to follow a Sonic Wave that far, Warthog, and flash kick the AD carry. Like, what on earth? That guy's a god. He's a visionary.
The clutch king himself.
Whew, he's Buddha. That was Zen Zone at 55 minutes. Like, how?
He was one with the moment and was able to take the win. Look at that damage dealt. Oh my goodness.
That was absurd. Normally Karma's like, you know, do some early game damage. Mid game, just like secondary support. Doinby's like, no. Void Staff, Death Cap,
Yeah, he went
Echo,
Rylo's Crystal
Leandre's,
Scepter,
and he
Leandre's
sold
too.
it.
Yeah. So he hit a point in the game where he wanted the 4-item spike, where QG was starting to lose, and it's a very efficient item build path where you can press W as well as the Q and be able to slow people for all of the ticks involved. So it's actually kind of cool that that is a choice that he went towards, all the burn damage there, so you can see the damage that he still dealt.
Amazing performance from Qiao to take the win in this week of the Reapers, but now it's time for us to actually break down what this means for Qiao as a team. They did it. It was tough, and they came back from a loss in both series, but they did it.
And the sad thing is they almost have kind of their scariest matches ahead of them, theoretically. Like,
Yeah,
definitively, I would say that Vici and W are probably the hardest opponents, especially kind of stylistically. They're similar to QG. But like next week, they face EDG as well as Newbie.
Yeah.
And Newbie are looking great. They've got the rivalry there, and they need to take down kind of like the LPL king. So I feel like, yes, it was the week of the Reapers. They had a super exciting week. They got to kind of define where exactly they sit in the tiers, and they're definitely in the top tier. But now it's kind of like this was the first step, check, and now it's kind of like second step for them to reassume their throne.
I mean, the beauty of this is we can say at the end of this week that QG are very much a top 3 in the group team. Now they have beaten WE and Vici, but the games weren't clean. They always went to 3 games, and their opponents took a game off them. So for WE and Vici, looking at this group, it's not like they're a bottom 3 team either. It's just so hard to actually separate 1 through 5 disregarding game talents. Like,
I feel
where
like
do they all go?
I feel like you look at the top 5 teams, and all 3 of them are top 3 teams. It's just which one's actually going to end up in the 3rd spot.
I feel like if I'm game talents, I'm just looking over at Group A like, that could have been.
I could have been in that group. But yeah, to talk about that a little bit more, like the thing that was so exciting for me was watching Qiao over the course of the weekend learn and grow and adapt to these different team styles as they went in and see success through patience, through vigilance, and just sheer determination.
It's also kind of answering the question about where like these lesser known players, Klid and Kabe in particular, and kind of where they sit in the scheme of things. Like, yes, Kabe has found success in the LSPL, but you don't know if that's going to translate into professional play. It did beautifully, and Klid was an even bigger question mark. Found massive success, especially with this crazy play.
Oh my gosh.
This
so
was absurd.
he went onto Condi, ward hopped forward, then flashed behind Mystic to get all the way behind him.
I don't think I can stress how important that was for that stage in the game. Like, you've got Lee Sin players, right, that, like, look at the excitement. To be able to, like, win at that stage, to have a calm, collected mentality as a Lee Sin, not like doing B, and hit the kick is just beyond imagination. Like, no Lee Sins ever really do that. Last I remember is Meteos, honestly, at Worlds for Cloud9.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the only other time I've seen a Lee Sin win the game like that.
Yeah, and of course, the MVP that game is going to Doinby, 7-4-7. 500 CS, 82% kill participation, and nearly 40% of his team's damage.
And I want to kind of make some sort of speculation here. So we talked about how Ollie had a reputation of being a shot caller. We see that Doinby is very vocal, very excited. We expect him to at least have a portion in the shot calling hand. Like, when that game is over and how excited they are, it's Doinby and it's Ollie that are, you know, clasping hands and being super and overly excited. And to go against a team like Team WE, who are so frustrating, who are playing that really slow, methodical style, like, can you just imagine that those two voices probably carried through in that game?
Yeah, it certainly did. And of course, that's not to say that WE played poorly by any sort of standard. They were playing their game, and they were playing it remarkably well, but they just couldn't break Qiao.
So, WE have an obsession with Dragon that does not need to exist. I think first and like, sure, we can call them an Elder Dragon team. You know what? They got 2 of them in this game. That's great for WE, but the problem's the ones before the Elder Dragon, where they relentlessly throw the games. If they could just look at other objectives, like the Ocean Drakes doesn't mean that much to them. Just play League of Legends for everything that isn't in that pit.
I have a theory about it. I don't actually think it's the dragon. I think it's just like they're really comfortable fighting around that area, and so it's just like, again, it's like it's their arena. They don't care about the dragon. They just want to fight there.
But they win in the top arena and not the bottom one.
I know, it's weird.
I still don't get why they do it.
And it sort of extends to that idea of Baron as well. They don't always seem to get it against these types of teams like Qiao, and they played EDG previously, who also controlled the Baron as well. And then when they do get the Baron against the likes of Newbie, they just don't know what they're doing with it.
Yeah, I think they just struggle to end games right now with any advantages, and like their strength is their defense, but their weakness is quite obviously their offense.
Yeah.
And so that's where WE need to improve moving forward, is cleanly finishing a game with advantages and pushing those leads.
It should be noted that Team WE did have a really rough schedule to start the LPL. I mean, they faced EDG when they were in a significant better form than, we saw EDG this week. And I'm just really kind of curious what kind of their mental fortitude is, because having kind of 2 back-to-back losses as well as the fumbles against Newbie, that's got to be really draining. And so hopefully they can bounce back from this. They seem like they're willing to kind of experiment with some things, pulling in Ben. Ben was a highlight of the team, even though I really like Zero. So hopefully this isn't just like another plateaued, tired, worn down WE, and they're able to grow from this.
I don't think, to me, Mystic looked good, Qiao looked good, and Ben actually looked outstanding.
Yep.
And these are the 3 members, or not Ben inclusive, the 2 carries that I'd look at and say need to actually be the ones not being burnt out and performing well. Because 957's the one that looks a little bit iffy. Even Condi in the first week was good. So if they can fix their one weak point, he's the young member of the team. Clearly there will be motivations for him to improve in that role. I think that's what WE really need to cement that.
Next week, they will be playing against Game Talents and Vici, so they will have an opportunity to try to get some more wins back on the board. But now that is amazingly WE 1 and 2 in the groups. I can't imagine having said that before week 1 when they were looking so strong.
I mean, we said that Team W were probably going to be the strongest team in the LPL when we were beginning the LPL, just because you look on paper, that roster was super consistent. They upgraded in their coaching staff. And again, it's just been a really rough start for them in terms of a stacked schedule.
I mean, you put WE in Group A, they're probably at least second.
Yep.
IMA might be the contenders for first place in that group. That's the scary thing. So in this Group B, they've had hard matches. They're only going to have hard matches until we hit cross-group, and that's the most exciting part for me. When we actually cross-group match, how will they perform against teams we coin as weaker, or is Group B just perceived to be that?
It certainly is going to be exciting. The final standings, however, are Qiao in first at 3-0, EDG in second at 3-1. I'm sure we're going to get a graphic up for you very soon. Amazingly, WE in fourth, with Vici in third at 2-2. The fact that we're seeing the group shake out like this is just absolutely amazing. EDG losing for the first time since the spring playoffs against RNG of last year.
The scary and sad thing is again, it's top 4 from each group, and you have 5 great teams in Group B, so someone's going to draw kind of the short end of the stick, and it actually looks like it's either going to be Vici or EDG if we continue on this trajectory. Again, it's only week 2. This is still very infant stage. I know everyone else is kind of racing ahead because it's week 4 for everyone else, but there's definitely time to kind of pump the brakes and look around and fix these weaknesses.
And it is surprising to see WE in a position as they are. I would imagine the defeats that they have had are not pretty ones to deal with backstage afterwards. Long, drawn-out games they should have won that they haven't won. Their mentality could actually be brought into question in comparison to QG, who have had the exact same games but have always been the victors.
Yeah, so here are the current standings for Group B. Qiao in first, EDG in second, Vici in third, with WE and Newbie tied for fourth, and Game Talents currently at 0-3 in sixth.
I mean, we called it the week of the Reapers, and it certainly was with a finish like that, but it was also a week of upsets. In particular, IMA falling way down the standings, as well as RNG kind of making their climb back up it, and a surprising showing from OMG.
Really a very exciting week of the LPL, and this is only week 2. We've got, 9 more to go before we get through?
About 7 million,
yeah,
I think, left.
3 and 3 plus 6
He did the
is
math.
12.
Approximately, all right?
Yeah,
Approximately. No, the thing that I want to actually highlight about those groups is that being such a young period in the split, there is so much room for change, and we actually have to highlight all of these teams as they grow, learn, develop, and actually get better and or stay the same. That's the thing we really need to monitor, because OMG getting wins, Game Talent showing they have potential to take wins off teams like EDG, there is a lot there.
Certainly a very impressive performance overall, and I got to admit, I'm really looking forward to some of the rivalries that we've got next week. I mean, Qiao are going to take on Newbie and EDG. WE get a chance at redemption as well. Very exciting.
Yeah, the super exciting thing for me is that Newbie looks so good. Now that QG have kind of assumed their right in first place, they're looking across their old school rivals, and Swift looks like he's ready to take them on with Coco.
Well, they play first game next week.
Yeah, the very first one. That's going to do it for us, however. The LPL Week 2 has concluded. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to come back Thursday next week, where we will get to see the grand rivalry between Qiao and Newbie. On behalf of myself, my co-casters, and the entire production team, thanks for watching, and have a good night.